I am Flavio, el Meeple con la camicia, and welcome to this new episode dedicated to our local fever games. Today I'll show you the gameplay of Topiary and Bobbidi Boom, their latest games. Bobbidi Boom will be presented at Essen. If you want to know the components and the setup, click on the links right up there. Or if you want to move around in my videos, click in the links in the description. You still here? Alrighty then, let's make rituals in Topiary Gardens. Let's start with Topiary and let's see the action you can do in your turn. First of all, you must place one of your visitors next to one tile on the border of the garden, in a corner or in front of a tile. In a portion of a tile where there is not already a visitor. For example, here there is a yellow and there can't be another visitor, so you must take one face-down tile that your visitor can't see, or in this case in diagonal, and place it in your hand, and decide which one of the tiles you have at your disposal to place in the empty space, also the one just drawn. Your objective is to see the most plants possible. And to do this, you have to keep in mind their heights, determined by their number. If this visitor has in front of him this plant numbered 4, that at the end of the game are victory points, he can never see over plants of same heights, or smaller, so the 4s, the 3s, the 2s, the 1s. Doing an example with the discarded tiles, in a perfect world, you want to do all the straight. Also, if your visitors, in their view, have the same type of plants, you get more points, as for they see the same plants you have in your hand at the end of the game. Now let's see some turn. The first player is the red one, that decides to place a visitor here, and now he can take one of these face-down tiles. He decides to take this one. Now between these, he has to choose one to place in the empty spot. It's up to the blue player that decides to place a visitor here, takes this tile and places it in his hand, exchanging it with this one. The yellow player decides to place a visitor here. Take this tile and place this one here. The red player places a visitor here, takes this tile and places back this one. The blue player places a visitor here, takes this tile, and here this one. The yellow player places a visitor here and decides to take this tile and to place this one here. And the game goes on like this until every player has placed their visitors. And that was the gameplay of Topiary. Now if you want to stay with me, we will go to the end of the game to see who wins. Or you can click in the links right there to go to my personal thoughts about this game. Or you can click in the links in the description to go to see the gameplay of Bobbidi Boom. But if you are satisfied, thank you for watching, and if you have questions of any kind, put them in the comments and I will answer as soon as I can. Thank you for watching, I am Flavio, il Meeple con la camicia, and see you next time. Here we are at the end of the game. Now let's calculate the points and see who wins. First of all, check the tiles that are in the hand of the players. Let's start with the yellow player. Now the yellow player checks if at least one of his visitors can see one of these tiles. The yellow player can see the bubble tree. He can score this point. He can also see the dinosaur, and he takes also these 2 points. And because he sees also the swan, he obtains 2 other points. Now let's see if in the side of his visitors there are 2 or more equal images. Here he sees 2 whales. He gets 2 points. Here he sees 3 elephants and he gets 3 points. Now let's see the points of the visitors. This scores 3 points. This one scores 8 points, because this plant is covered by this one that is taller. These 3 tiles scores 12 points. These 3 tiles, 12 points. Note that these ones are of the same height, so he can't see the one that it's over. This scores 5 points. And this 7. Now let's see the blue player, starting with his tiles. The blue player can see the drill tree. He gets these 2 points. He can see also the swan and gets 3 points. Here he sees the bubble trees and gets 2 points. Now let's see if in his line of vision there are repeated images. Here he sees 2 swans and gets 2 points. Here 2 dinosaurs and gets 2 points. Here he sees 2 bubble trees and gets 2 points. Can't see this one that could have scored 2 points with this other one, because this one obstructed the visual. Now let's score the points of his visitors. With this he scores 9 points, with this 12 points, with this 8, with this one 8, with this scores 9 points, and with this other 9 points. Finally, let's see the red player starting with his tiles. Red player can see the whale, so he scores this little point, also the big pyramid, and obtains these 3 points. Sadly, he can't see elephants, so he can't score these 2 points. Now let's see the repeated images in their vision line. These visitors score 3 points, this one 2 points. Now let's see the points based on what they see. This scores 9 points. 9 points also for this, 12 for this, 11 points for this, 6 points for this, 10 points for this. The blue player wins this game with 68 points. If there are tied players, the player who wins is the one that scored the most points with the tiles in his hand. And if there is still a tie, wins the player that is second in turn order. Now let's see the gameplay of Bobbidi Boom. Each round is divided in 2 phases. The first is the ritual phase, in which every player in his turn can choose to flip a card from his deck or pass. When an ingredient is flipped, is considered inside a shared cauldron. At that point, the player checks how many of that ingredient have been already flipped, ignoring the larder, and if the total is equal or more than the top explosion tile, the cauldron explodes. That player takes the top tile and can't do anything else during the round, but his card stays face up. If the cauldron doesn't explode, he is safe and have to activate the ability of the card, shown here only on these special cards. If a player chooses to pass because he fears to explode or because he doesn't have any more cards in his deck, takes the top tile and flips it to the moon side. He cannot participate into this round, and his card stays face up. When the cauldron tiles is revealed, and there is only one player remaining, the round ends, and the second phase begins. The last player who survived takes 1 cauldron tile, that is 1 point, and choose a card from the larder to add to his deck. Starting from the player who's got the explosion tile with the highest number, every player chooses an ingredient from the larder. Who has the tile facing the moon can choose any card. Meanwhile, who has the tile facing the explosion must choose the card with the less points. At the beginning of the new round, new cards are flipped, the ritual tiles are piled back up, and each player shuffles their deck without seeing the cards. The player on the left of the player that took the cauldron tile is the new first player. Now let's see some turn. We ask temporary help to the meeples from Topiary, and we choose randomly who is the first player. The green player. The green player flips his first card. And it's a wing. Also the blue player flips his card, and it's a wing. If another wing is flipped, for example for the red player or also the yellow player, if the red player is safe, the cauldron explodes, and also him. But the red player feels lucky. And in fact, it's a foot. At this point the yellow player is a little bit frightened, but he tried a feat. 2 feet! Perfect! The cauldron explodes over the face of the yellow player, that must take the first explosion tile. He is out of the round, and his card stays face up. The green player decides to jump off the round, takes the first tile and flips it to the moon side. He is out, but his card stays face up. Also the blue player decided to pass. So the red player gains 1 victory point. The red player will be the first to choose a card from the larder. Then the blue player, that thanks to the tile on the side of the moon, can choose any card. As for the green player. Meanwhile, the yellow player that is last, and he is also exploded, can choose only the one with the lowest value. The red player chooses to take this card. The blue player takes this. The red player this one. The yellow player can choose which one, because they are the same value, and decide to take this one. this card remain, and other ones are flipped. Now the players shuffle back the cards in their deck without looking at them, and the explosion tiles are piled back up. The player on the left of the player who got the victory point is the new first player, in this case the yellow player, that is feeling lucky and flips his first card, followed by the green player that explodes, just because this is my favorite color. The turn of the blue player that also explodes. Perfect, it is a heads up between the yellow player and the red player. The red player is safe for now, and it's up to the yellow player that insists. And he is safe. The red player goes on. And it's safe. Now it's up to the yellow player that this time is feeling lucky. And this is a special card. For now he is safe. There are only 3 cards of this type in play, and the maximum is 5. But this is a card that tells him to draw another card. Let's see what happens. He's safe. Red player goes on. And we are at 4 wings. The yellow player has a big dilemma. Jumping off of the round, giving another point to the red player, or taking the risk. And the game goes on like this. Now just kidding, let's see what happens. And sadly he explodes. And however, the red player gains another point. And the game goes on like this till all the cauldron tiles are gone. And that was the gameplay of Bobbidi Boom. Now, stay with me and we will go at the end of the game to see who wins. Or you can click in the links right there to go to my personal thoughts about this game. But if you are satisfied, thank you for watching, and if you have questions of any kind, put them in the comments and I will answer as soon as I can. I am Flavio, il meeple con la camicia, and see you next time! And we are at the end of the game, but before starting to score the points, I must make the report of the last round because it was hilarious. Starting with the yellow player that flipped a foot, follows the green player that flipped a wing. Very well, the blue player flips another wing. Danger! The red player that hoarded a lot of points flips the third wing and explodes. Back to the yellow player that flips another wing and also he explodes. And finally also the green player explodes, flipping another wing card. The blue player obviously chooses to take the 6-pointer. The green player must take the one with the less points. Same the yellow player and also the red player. And now score some points. Now each player check their cards for the number here in the top left corner. And then add 1 point for every cauldron tile. Let's start with the yellow player, the foot fetishist. 3, 5, 7, 11, 14, 21, 27, 32, 32, 34. Let's see the green player that has 1 point for this cauldron. 2, 3, 8, 14, 20, 24, 26, 29, 29. The blue player has 6, 10, 15, 18, 20, 24, 30, and 1. The red player has 6 points for these ones. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 38. These ones are worth 1 5-point and all the others 3 points. 43, 46, a total of 52. And he is the winner. And that's all. So if you want now, you can go check out my personal thoughts about Bobbidi Boom, or if you're satisfied, thank you for watching, and if you have questions of any kind, put them in the comments and I will answer as soon as I can. So, I am Flavio, il meeple con la camicia, and see you next time.